Dear viewers, you're most welcome to the Experts Corner. Our special guest today is the CEO of the Kenya Film Classification Board. His name is Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. He will let us know about the mandate of the board. Daktari?
Thank you, Veronica, and good morning. Thank you for having me on your platform today and for bringing up this important subject, especially now that children are at home and they're more engaged in online learning and they have more access to gadgets and so on. And so the subject of cybersecurity is very important. And so I'm delighted to be with you to talk about this important subject. I am Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. I'm the CEO of the Kenya Film Classification Board. KFCB is the body established under the Films and Stage Plays Act, Cap 222 of the laws of Kenya to regulate film and broadcast content at 5 levels: at the level of creation, distribution, broadcasting, exhibition, and possession. And we do that by rating also and classifying content for age appropriateness. So we are the ones who ascribe or prescribe age appropriateness on programs. You see some programs on TV or on movies rated general exhibition GE or PG for parental guidance or not suitable for this age or the other. That is the technical expertise that we provide as a board for age stability on content that is consumed by viewers. And that mandate is important to achieve 2 major objectives. One is to ensure that film and broadcast content conform to Kenya's culture, national values and aspirations, but more importantly, that we protect children from exposure to harmful content. We know that film and media is a powerful tool for transforming values, and it shapes character. It can build or destroy. Media is a double-edged sword, and therefore the aspect of regulation is very critical to ensure that the values that are passed on and the messages that are passed on, the information, the kind of entertainment, the kind of education that is passed on, especially to the vulnerable groups, children and other vulnerable groups, does not impair their moral judgment or undermine or degrade their character. And so this role is to ensure that we achieve those 2 main objectives. And like I said, we do it by rating and classifying content. And you must have seen the kind of work that we do in collaboration with other institutions like schools and colleges, institutions of learning, parents, other regulatory bodies, creating synergies so that we can create awareness about this role, but more importantly, that people can also be able to report bad content, because as a government agency, we cannot be everywhere. We mostly rely on the public to inform us that there's something bad online, there's something bad on a particular program. And while we have several sections within the board, we have a monitoring unit, a broadcast monitoring unit. We have a licensing department. We have an examination and classification department. But still, we cannot be everywhere and we cannot get everything. And we're so grateful to the members of public who keep informing us, telling us, there's something bad. You need to watch this. You need to check that, whether it's appropriate. And this is how we have managed to execute our mandate to ensure that children remain safe, that we create safe spaces for our children, and that our children are able to enjoy online learning, to enjoy entertainment, to enjoy TV, to enjoy new technologies without having the risk of getting, exposed to bad content.
Thank you, Daktari. For sure, your board is really doing a tremendous job. And currently, some parents are still struggling to assist their children on how to set online boundaries. So we would like to hear from you, Daktari. How best can we create safe content or a safe cyberspace for our children today?
I think the best way of protecting children is by empowering them with information on how to navigate the new digital spaces, how to interact intelligently and responsibly with technology, how to use gadgets and the internet profitably and intelligently and responsibly to build themselves, to create networks, to create, edifying information, to get an entertainment that is within moral bounds, to be informed, to connect with others, as opposed to allowing themselves to get into the curiosity that veers towards bad content, and where they're likely to be misled into crime, into pornography or pedophilia, and bad things that happen on the social media. There are a lot of dangers that are available online. There's a lot of bad stuff, and unless children themselves understand why it's important for them not to watch bad content, why it's important for them to listen to what their parents are saying, what their teachers are saying, what their guardians are saying, and be able also to have the technical skills to know when a bad character online is trying to pry on them or to attack them, or to, these things that keep popping up. The children need to know when something pops up, you don't just click. That that can be dangerous. Those can be bad sites, and therefore empowering children with information is one of the most important weapons or most important ways in which we can ensure that they are protected. Obviously, talking to them and ensuring that we create an environment where they can also share their experiences with us and with their teachers, and with the parents and so on. I think that again becomes very important. But I think also in terms of creating the right policies, putting in place legislative policies that will ensure that also these bad characters that are on the online are minimized, so that we don't end up with a situation where online is or social media is flooded with dirty content that is not appropriate for children. So policy is critical again in this narrative, and we have done a lot to ensure that we review CAP 222 to address the advancement in technology. We have cybercrime bill, we have data protection, and so on and so forth. And all these policies and the synergies between the various government agencies that are mandated with the regulation of content help to ensure that we try as much as possible and keep our children safe. The other one would be, of course, to create content that is appropriate, so that when we tell them don't watch this, there is a counter, there are counter narratives. There's alternative content for them to watch, content that is appropriate for children, that is rated by the board, that is appropriate for each age, and that we ensure that those children, that our children do not watch content that is not meant for them. And therefore, creating enough content, enough cartoons, enough in animations, enough programs that are educative, that are entertaining, that are informative, but are also suitable in terms of the psychological growth and the intelligence and the growth of our children, so that they are able to, at every stage, eat or consume what is appropriate for them. Just the same way we bring them up. The food that we feed a 6-month-old is not the same food that a 10-year-old child will eat. And so there are stages of growth in life. It's the same with content, a 10-year-old should not be watching content that is meant for 18, or for adults. And therefore, those restrictions are not to injure the child or to curtail their freedom. It is to ensure that they consume what is right. Like I've said, when a baby is born, you don't feed them with githeri, you feed them with milk, the mother's milk preferably. And they grow up to get to a point where they can eat some other soft stuff and like that until they're big enough to choose, even to be able to eat now whatever they want without having to be guided. That's the same way with content. And that's the kind of conversations that we need to have. So for us as government, what we have done, like I said, is creating awareness, empowering children themselves with information so that they can be able to consume information intelligently, or consume the social media and interact with gadgets and technology intelligently and responsibly. Secondly, we have created legislative framework to protect children. There are policies, there are laws in place to protect children. And more importantly, we have encouraged the creation of appropriate content for our children. I think now what we need is interagency collaboration between various players, both in the private and public sector, to work together, for the sake of our children. There is no society that neglects its children and prospers. We've got to pay a lot of attention to our youth and to our children and the kind of information that they are consuming, because the information that they consume will shape the kind of citizens that they will become when they grow up, and how responsible or irresponsible they will be, whether they'll be healthy citizens, whether they will be citizens who are disciplined and they're not given to crime. This will depend on the environment that they grow up in. And that's why it's so important to create the safe environment for children, to be able to grow up with the limitations in terms of the kind of information they receive, so that it's appropriate, it does not harm them, and that in the wake of social media, in the wake of new technologies, and with a flurry of information that is flooded everywhere, we also manage that information in a way that children are not, constipated with information that is not useful. They are not just out of curiosity allowed to get each and everything that comes their way. So this is important, and we are working with the Communications Authority of Kenya very closely to ensure that we promote child online protection. We are working with Google. We are working with other, NGOs and private sector players to ensure that we protect children. And I think it's working well. Yes, we are not 100% safe. We need to be more vigilant, especially now with COVID-19, when our children are at home, when they have more access to technologies. We need to, parents need to monitor what their children are watching. We need to create more conversations. We need to create more awareness, even using media. And I'm very grateful that even online platforms like yours are also focusing on this. So I think a lot is going on. And if we collaborate, we are going to protect children and create the safe environment that they need.
Absolutely, absolutely, Daktari. We need to be intentional as we raise our children and for the next generation to come. Thank you so much, Daktari, for sharing with us all that and for your time. And to our viewers, subscribe to this channel to get more of this useful information. Thank you. Thank you, Daktari.
Thank